Hi everybody, welcome to episode 28 of the Pins and Needles podcast. My name is Zoe and I live in South Wales in the UK with my husband, 3 kids and Jim the dog. You can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram as Pins and Needles UK. We do have a Ravelry group as well. It's the Pins and Needles podcast group and I'll leave links down below. You can also get in touch with me via direct message through Instagram or Ravelry, or you can email me direct at hipinsandneedles@gmail.com. Big welcome back to any returning viewers and an extra special hi to any new bugs out there. I wanted to say a big thank you to all of my test knitters. For anyone that's new, I am this close to releasing my first ever pattern. I actually brought it to wave at you. Here we are. These are my beach hut sock pattern socks. Aren't they gorgeous? And I've had a fantastic team of test knitters beavering away like mad, and they've exceeded all my expectations for getting through the socks. So a massive thank you to you guys. And also, if anyone is interested in seeing these in different yarns and things like that, nip onto Instagram and search for #beachhutsocks, and then that will pull up some lovely pictures. So I anticipate releasing this pattern on the 1st of July, so not long to go. And if you keep your eyes peeled on Instagram, I will be doing a giveaway on there and also offering a discount code for the pattern when that goes live. So make sure you're following me on Instagram and then you won't miss any of the exciting news for that. Oh, I did mean to say, check the comments box down below. I'll put all the details of everything I talk about in there, and also the timestamps so you can skip around to different sections if you'd like. First up, I just wanted to let you know what I'm wearing. This is my Monita dress, which is a colette pattern. I sewed this up a couple of months ago now, I think. And the weather's just right for wearing that. So yeah, Colette Monita in some jersey fabric that I bought from minervacrafts.com. They have since sold out of it, I think. And this is one of my favourite summer cardigans. This is the featherweight cardigan, which I think is by Hannah Fettig. It's knit in some lace weight yarn, the name of which completely escapes me. But it is in my pattern, my project page on Ravelry, so go find me on Ravelry and have a hunt around and you can find that. What have I been up to? The weather in the UK. I'm sorry to talk about the weather, but I'm British and it goes hand in hand with being British. The weather has been absolutely horrendous. It's been over 30 degrees and I live in Wales. I didn't sign up for that, not sure about that, and it's been horribly humid. So it really has been sweltering. I don't think I opened the curtains in the house for about 4 days straight because it was just, I live right on the coast in a big Victorian house and it's got massive double height windows, front and back, and the sun comes straight in and it was just roasting and nobody got any sleep and everyone was ratty and it was just disgusting. I had to walk Jim the dog at 7:15 in the morning. He's a black Labrador and he doesn't like the heat. So I walked him super early and I threw lots of tennis balls into the sea to cool him down. And he has spent all day flat out on the hall tiles. We've got a Victorian tiled floor and he's obviously found the coolest spot in the house and he just lies there with his tongue like that, and I felt so sorry for him. So yes, some people have loved the weather. I most definitely have not. But it's back down to sort of normal June temperatures now, so that's a bit of a relief. We did have Father's Day as well. We sort of take a small amount of Father's Day and Mother's Day in my household. So Dave just fancied going to the beach with the kids for the afternoon. So that's what we did. We're literally just 5 minutes walk from the beach. So we packed up lunch and buckets and spades and things and went down for a few hours. Because it was about 30 degrees at the time and I burn really easily, I was wearing a big hat and sunglasses. I borrowed one of Dave's long sleeve t-shirts and wore some long, full length rayon trousers that I sewed up. I was basically the only person fully dressed on the beach, and I did feel a bit of a prat, but at least I won't get sunburn. Just the thought of having to put sun cream everywhere and then sitting on the sand, I would have ended up like a human fish finger, and I just thought, I'd rather just wear clothes. So that's what I did. Today, as well as being episode 28, is also mine and Dave's 16th wedding anniversary. So we decided to celebrate by Dave going to work for 12 hours straight and me being at home with his dad. So yeah, way to go. I think what we'll probably do is just pick a random weekend in a week or two and try and go out for lunch or something. But yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. I think being married for 16 years is an achievement, and we've been together for 19 years, so I've managed not to murder him for 19 years. I think that deserves a little mention on the podcast. Good tea. Right, pins, my sewing section. You may notice that the lovely Demelza is absent this week. Last week I showed you my progress on my kimono pattern, and that was Simplicity 1318. Again, all the details are down below. And I was being a little bit of a fibber, I must admit. I know my mum watches the podcast. Hi Mum. And I was sewing that kimono up for her as a very late Mother's Day present. Mother's Day was in March. It was near my birthday, which is March. And at the time I had raging tonsillitis, so I was going to take Mum out for afternoon tea, but I didn't think she'd want my germs. And we never quite managed to reschedule. So I thought, well, I'll sew her a kimono instead. So I pretended it was for me all along. Actually, it was for Mum. My mum loves dancing, and she goes a couple of times a week with a few friends of hers. And she goes away a couple of times a year to big fancy hotels for nice weekends for dancing. But obviously it can get quite hot when you get all of these people all together in a room going for it. It does get quite warm. So I thought the kimono would be sort of a nice light summer sort of jacket almost, so that when she goes dancing she can just wear a little vest underneath and then pop the kimono on when she's sat down and it gets a bit cooler. Anyway, so the long and short of it is, I've already given her the kimono. She came down last weekend with my dad to help babysit the kids while Dave and I had things to do. So it's all wrapped up and given to Mum, and she said she liked it, so that's a relief. So what I did is, before she arrived, I filmed a short section showing you the completely finished object on Demelza, and I will insert that right here, and then you can come back and I'll show you the rest of the section. I just wanted to give you a little bit of video clip of the kimono I made. Actually, it's for my mum, so she's coming down this afternoon and I need to get it wrapped up to give to her. So there's a few pictures on my Instagram feed if you want some stills, and I hopefully won't make this too shaky if I zoom in and show you some of the details. So I made the size medium, and it's in the beautiful crinkle crepe georgette from sewisfaction.co.uk. I'm trying to do this without getting too much shadow on it. And it's got a sort of a grown-on kimono sleeve. And then on this side, I got the shoulder seams to match exactly. And on this side, they're out, but only by a small amount. As you can see, thanks mostly to all of your fantastic advice, I got the back neck piece on, and I did just have it on upside down. So thank you to everyone who commented for that. I could show you a quick peek inside. So this front facing, you machine attach it here, but when you turn it under to attach this edge, this is all hand stitched. And this band runs all the way down the front, around the back at the other side and round the back of the neck, all in one piece. So that was a huge amount of hand stitching. And I did smart French seams on the inside. So that's a slightly messy bit of stitching, but overall I'm really pleased with how neat and tidy the inside of this looks. It's difficult trying to do this one-handed. There's a better look. So a nice French seam into a nice hand-stitched facing. And then the seams for the sleeves, you just press up a 5/8 seam allowance, tuck it under, and machine stitch along the top. So, thank you again for all of your help and advice. And I just really hope that my mum enjoys wearing it. I hope you enjoyed that little tour of the kimono jacket. Overall, I'm very pleased with it indeed. I will be making one for me. I've got some lovely John Caldor crepe, but I don't think I've got quite enough. I think I need to find some contrasting fabric for the band, and then I'll have just about enough. So that's finishing that kimono is all the sewing I've actually managed to complete in this last 2 weeks. I mentioned the hand stitching of the facing, and that really did take 3 evenings worth of work. I don't get a huge amount of spare time for sewing or knitting actually, so that took up most of my time. I do have some sewing acquisitions and some sewing plans, so I'll show you that. I've mentioned before now Mrs M's Curiosity Cabinet, which is an audio podcast. I listen through Podcast Republic, but I know she's on iTunes as well. It's generally a fantastic podcast and you really must go and listen. And she's very into sustainable living and recycling and all the rest of it. And I found her last episode particularly inspiring. So I decided to have a trawl around my local charity shops because I needed a few bits and pieces for Jocelyn, my daughter. She's suddenly grown. I think it was the sunshine. And she's tall enough now to be out of children's clothes and into the smaller end of ladies' sizing. So I went up and down the charity shops near work and I found her a nice t-shirt and a pair of shorts, but for 99p I found this wonderful pattern. This is Burda style 7505, and the illustrations aren't brilliant because they've got white trousers on a white background. If I show you the line drawing, they're basically a very simple skirt and trouser pattern, an elasticated waist with pockets, and I thought they would be perfect summer trousers for Jocelyn. She loves cycling on her bike, she plays out a lot with her friends, and she's generally quite active, so she does love a dress, but summer trousers are great. So yeah, 99p, I thought, well, you can't argue with that. It's complete. It's not even been, you know, opened up at all, so I was very pleased with that. And it says suitable for linen, crepe fabrics and jersey. I've got some jersey. I don't have any linen, but when my mum came down, she's been having a bit of a clear out of her wardrobe, and she brought me down 2 sort of sarongs, one of which Jocelyn's adopted for the beach, and the other one, hang on a sec, let me drink this tea. Nearly ended up throwing that in my lap then. That would have been soggy. Right. And this is the other thing she bought me. Now it's basically poncho. There's a neck hole here and armholes, and it's basically a massive square of this gorgeous batik fabric with tassels at the bottom. And I absolutely love it. Look at the colours and the pattern in that. Jocelyn looks really good in strong colours, and it's huge. I mean, it's massive. So I'm pretty sure it's that big, and it's very long and very square. So I was thinking summer trousers for Jocelyn out of this. And if I get it right, I'm hoping that I can keep the tassels at the bottom of the trouser legs. She might not want the tassels, I'll have to ask. But I thought that might be fab. And I thought they might be a bit piratey. Not like costume, but, well, you know, summer tassels. So that's my plan. So I've got plenty of elastic in my stash. So if I can squeeze a pair of sort of 3/4 summer trousers, or even just long shorts, out of that fabric. Oh, it really is lovely. Look at that. That will be a pair of trousers for 99p, and really, reduce, reuse and recycle, people. It's going to be amazing. My next acquisition, I've got a bit overexcited about sewing, I'm afraid. I don't usually buy sewing magazines, but there's recently been an explosion on Instagram of people sewing up a particular free pattern that came with a magazine. It's Love Sewing magazine, issue number 40. It's $4.99 in the UK, and it came with 2 free patterns, which really is fantastic value. McCalls 7533, and that's just a rather useful set of dress options. I'll show you the line drawings on the back, with and without sleeves, dipped hems, you know, high necks, that sort of thing. So that's quite handy. I may well make up one of those in the future, but what I was after was this. This is Butterick B6178. Now, it doesn't look terribly inspiring. The styling on this lady here is just awful. She looks like a toilet roll cover, but culottes. Now, if you do a search on Instagram, hashtag B6178, you will see the most gorgeous array of culotte patterns. And people have made office type ones in sort of smart crepe fabrics. They've made chambray ones, they've made printed cotton ones. It really is just lovely. And if I show you the print, the line drawings on the back, I want to make this one. So these ones have sort of pleats, so there's a lot of extra fabric here. But I want the fairly plain ones, which is view D. Now, I'm a bit scared of sewing things for my bottom half, mostly because I don't like sewing zips. I've only sewed a couple, and I've really made a pig's ear of it every single time. But I need some more bottoms in my wardrobe, and I think these would be perfect. I love all the versions that I've seen sewn up on Instagram. I do a huge amount of walking with Jim the dog. I'm out for at least an hour a day, and living right on the coast, it is very windy. I took the kids to school this morning in this dress, and I had a bit of a Marilyn Monroe moment in the yard, saved only by my handbag, which fortunately stopped me embarrassing myself completely. So I think culottes are going to be the perfect compromise between breezy skirts and practical trousers for walking and for modesty. So it says it's designed for light to medium weight woven fabrics, linen, denim, broadcloth, chalice, how do you say that? I don't know. So they have a waistband, pockets obviously, and a zip at the back, semi-fitted. So yes, that's the pattern that made me buy the magazine. And in the magazine itself, it's a lovely magazine full of nice articles. It's definitely worth the money. They always do a couple of articles on the patterns that they include for free. And it only inspired me more. So this is the view I'm interested in making. And look at those. I love the colour. I absolutely love the colour. I'd possibly make them a little shorter. That's a slightly in-betweeny length. But I like the fact they're fairly flat across the front. I'm quite hippie, so I really don't need excess fabric flapping around an already substantial rear. And what really drew me to it, this is a different view. That's with all the pleats, so that's a lot fuller. So that looks much more like a skirt. But I love the print. It's sort of like a jungly summer print. And I think what stops this pattern looking frumpy is the fabric that you choose. So if you're going to go swishy, you know, have some fun with the print, or you can go really sleek and chic with a solid. Anyway, so I loved that print. And I was lying in bed last night and I had a thought. You know how I like sewing with reclaimed fabric, and usually it's bed sheets, but I'm going to branch out a little, and I've got one of my grandmother's old tablecloths. What do you think? I can't decide if this is genius or if it's just going to look like I'm wearing a tablecloth. I kind of think it might work. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough fabric. That's the only issue. This is a sort of an oval shaped tablecloth, but I do like the colour. And I can, if I get this pattern right, if I can get the fit right, I can see me making a lot of these. So maybe a wearable toile. We'll see. So I'm desperate to get this sewn up. I'm hoping to be able to make a start on this weekend. And oh, the other thing it had in this magazine, they had, what do they call it? Masterclass on a flat tummy fix. Adding a pocket stay to trousers or skirts is a great technique for creating the illusion of a flat tummy area and will also keep pockets and pleats from opening, no matter how much you eat. Okay, first of all, I object to the term tummy. Tummy is for children, we have stomachs. And also, neither do I give a flying what's it if my stomach looks flat or not. But it is nice, the point of it is that you can add an extra bit of fabric to your pocket and catch it into the centre front seam, so it just keeps them from wrinkling up. So I thought that might be worth having a go at. So yes, love sewing, free pattern, tablecloth, genius. The last acquisition, 2 episodes ago, in episode 26, I mentioned a new company I'd come across, printyourpattern.com. Now, lots of us use PDF patterns, and they always come in a print at home A4 file and an A0 copy shop file. And getting your pattern from a copy shop is often a pain in the neck. I know several, but you can't park, and who's got the time? So printyourpattern.com is a marvellous website where you upload your pattern, they print it, and then they post it back to you. They can only do the A0 size at the moment. So I gave a shout out to this company with the disclaimer that I'd never used them, but what a genius idea. And I had an email from the owner, so hello Sarah. And Sarah very kindly sent me an email to say thank you for the shout out. And she would like to offer me a free pattern to say thank you. So I've had the Blackwood cardigan pattern. Who did the Blackwood cardigan pattern? It's by a lady called Helen. I can't remember. I'll put links down below, but it's the Blackwood cardigan pattern, and it's a long line, open fronted cardigan. So I sent that off to Sarah, and this is what I got back. So A4 envelope, sealed with washi tape with sewing machines on. I love that. And this is how it comes. So I've got 2 sheets of A0, Helen's Closet Blackwood cardigan. I knew it was Helen something. And this is how it comes. So it's all beautifully folded. It's a really nice quality paper. I trace my patterns off anyway because I'm always blending between sizes. But if you did want to, use this, it would be fine and it would hold up really nicely. So yeah, it's all concertina folded up, and it was no trouble at all. Now I attached the pattern to I replied to Sarah's email and attached the pattern to that. So I've not had any experience of actually using the site to upload it, but her customer service is fabulous. So thank you very much, Sarah. That's very kind of you. I'm going to squirrel this away, and I'm going to make myself a nice cardigan in time for autumn, I think. So that was lovely. And as well as just being, super handy that you can get this stuff sent to you in the post, it turns out that Sarah's company, printyourpattern.com, is actually quite new. She's based in Suffolk, and I was absolutely thrilled to find out that I accidentally promoted an independent business that is also run by a woman. I'm an independent business owner myself. I like supporting independent businesses. I think we should do more of it, and it's always particularly pleasing when it's another woman out there doing it for themselves. So yeah, thank you again for that, Sarah, and I look forward to making my cardigan. Needles, my knitting bit. I've got a few whips to show you and then one new cast on at the end. First up, in my Eldenwood Craft bag, I've got my Blanket of the Year. I showed this last time. Blanket of the Year is a pattern by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast, and it's sort of more of a recipe than a pattern. But if you go and find her on Ravelry, she's bryonybears, or if you have a look at my pattern page, you'll be able to see. So it's a variation of the mitered square blankets. And last time I'd finished one square and was halfway through another. And these are all different yarns from Little French Meadow. A bit of a brain fart then. And these were sent to me in a swap by Kelly. Hello, Kelly. So I finished the second square and I even wove in all the ends. Look at that. So the inside is Little French Meadow and the outside is undyed Owl About Yarn Sparkle Sock. I took you through all the colourways last week, so I finished that, not last week, last episode. And I've also finished another one. I used up all my Little French Meadow scraps and I've got a big bag of scraps that I'm working my way through, so I had a lot of fun rummaging through it to choose my next set. And I've started and finished a Hedgehog Fibres square, yes. Now, these were sent to me by the lovely Sally Louisa, who I know on Ravelry, and none of them came with tags. So the multicoloured square is some leftovers that I had. This is Hedgehog Fibres High Twist Sock in the colourway Heyday, and I used this yarn to knit myself a pair of vintage Fairy Light sock by Helen Stewart. Curious Handmade, but the solids are all sent to me in a swap. So unfortunately I can't tell you the colours, but they're all that bright, really, really bright. So I've got one done. And I've just started one more blue square. So I'm really enjoying this. I love the fact that the colours are so different. It's just a really quick, enjoyable knit. And blankets can be a bit overwhelming. If you knit them all in one go, the rows are never ending. And if you knit, lots of people knit the mitered square blankets one little square at a time. And that just feels, I wonder if you feel like you'd ever make any progress. But with this, you knit a square and it's a finished thing and you think, oh, fab. So yes, Hedgehog Fibres. I reckon, these are the yarns. I reckon I've got enough to do at least one more square, maybe two. I think I'd run out of this one after the next square, but I could possibly eke another square out of those. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But anyway, I'm thoroughly enjoying that. So blanketing along merrily. Tuck those back in there. My next work in progress is my vanilla sock. So this is just a sock recipe that I've come up with. These are Dave's Christmas socks. I can't remember where I was last time I showed you. But anyway, here they are. So this is West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply. It's 75/25 in the colourway Blue Lagoon. And I'm doing a 2x2 rib. And I've done, I think, well, maybe I was here. Yeah. Handily put a marker in for you. Heel flap, and I'm not quite through the gusset yet, but I told myself I couldn't knit on these unless I was actually out and about. So I've done a little bit. I went to go and see Jenny yesterday for secret meetings. Took these with me, didn't do a stitch, didn't have the time. She distracted me with a tasty lunch, that was the trouble. I've knitted a little bit when I was watching my youngest son's Thai boxing class. I'm that crazy mum that knits in Thai boxing. So yeah, I'm enjoying those. I do like the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn very much, but I find it's quite a light 4-ply. I knit on 2.25mm needles anyway. I'm quite a tight knitter. But yeah, I find it's a little lighter than a lot of commercial sock yarn. It's absolutely fine, just something to bear in mind if you haven't used it before. Just found the label. It's colourway 831, which is Blue Lagoon. Next up is my linen t-shirt. Now I'm trying to get this knitted in time for Yarningham, which is a yarn festival in Sturchley Baths in Birmingham, which I'm going to in July. I want to say it's the 14th and 15th of July. I'll look it up and put it down below. And I'm going with Jenny of Owl About Yarn, and I'm going to be her booth buddy. And it was horribly hot last year, so I wanted to knit myself a nice linen t-shirt. Now I'm knitting it in some beautiful yarn I bought from Estelle. It's Midwinter yarns. It's Lithuanian linen in the colourway Avocado. There's the details of the numbers down there. She's got loads available on her website, which is midwinteryarns.com. And it's difficult. It's a paid for pattern and I can't give the details away, but I really want to because it's such an interesting construction. So the pattern is by Isabel Kramer? I can't remember. I'm sorry. I've slept very little because of the heat. Anyway, so it's a top-down pattern, and basically you knit the yoke back and forth, and then eventually you join it in the round under the arms and scoot all the way down. So last time I showed you I had completed the back. There's the back, and you put those stitches on hold, so I've just stuck it on a cable so it's ready to go. And then you start on the fronts, and I've finished the lacework section. I keep panicking with this because it looks enormous, but what you have to remember is that it includes the sleeve, so it's sort of a grown on or all-in-one sleeve, so I don't need to panic, but I panic. Now this is incredibly simple lace. It's very beautiful, and I ballsed it up several times just because I was tired. But it's very lovely. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it clearly. Hang on a sec. If I hold it in front of my top, it might show up a bit more. Yes, there we go. So you've got a row of eyelets, and then a diagonal eyelet, and then these simple diamond shapes. And when you've finished knitting the body, you'll repeat the diagonally bit there at the very bottom, and then you pick up and knit just a couple of rows to finish off the neck. So it'll stick out a bit because of the cables. You get the shoulders in the right place. Where's my shoulders? It's going to stick to my other cardigan now. This probably wasn't a good idea. This is why I have Demelza. But yes, that looks terrible. It's not terrible, it's lovely. I'm really enjoying knitting it, and the colour is gorgeous. But yes, that just gives you a bit more of an idea of how far down the sleeves will come. So I've got about another maybe 20 rows of underarm shaping, and then eventually I'll join it together in the round and just knit my way down. But yes, I'm thinking it's going to be lovely. The fabric is quite open and airy, so when it's finished I'll have to take a view on whether I need to wear a vest underneath. But the plan is to finish knitting this and make up some shorts, sew up some shorts in time for the festival. The pattern for the shorts is the Seamwork shorts pattern, the Western shorts by Seamwork. So that's the plan. So I've knitted pretty much the whole yoke, not quite, but nearly, out of one. I've got a titchy bit of yarn left out of the first skein, and I bought 3. So I've got plenty of yarn left, so that shouldn't be any trouble at all. Oh, I'm actually quite looking forward to the stocking stitch bit. I know a lot of people don't like endless stocking stitch, but it is all done in the round and I can just let my fingers fly, so I'm enjoying that. This project bag was made by me. There's nothing exciting to tell you about that one. Next up, I mentioned my fabulous test knitters earlier, and one of them is Kathy. Hello, Kathy. and she is a friend of mine through Ravelry. She is also the supremely talented Shakeyourbooties on Ravelry and designs the most fantastic booty patterns. Some really interesting and different designs. I test knitted a Gansey booty for her a while ago. She also does sunflowers and New York taxi cabs, just all sorts. And she kindly knitted test knitted a pair of beach hut socks for me. And then I saw that she wanted test knitters for her new booty design. So, oh, me, I'll do it. So in my Mrs. Brown's bag, I have got my test knit. And it's a fun design using mosaic knitting. They're called the Mosaic Booties. Shakeyourbooties. And that is the design. So the idea of these is you knit them in a similar way to a pair of toe-up socks. And then the cuff, I haven't got that far yet, you do mosaic knitting on the cuff, and it's a fold down cuff. So you knit a bit plain and then you knit some of the mosaic and you flip it over and it looks like that. So the construction is always interesting on her patterns, and she did such a wonderful job test knitting for me. I absolutely need to return the favour. So I cast on this morning. I was supposed to be doing housework and paperwork and I didn't want to, so I cast on a test knit. So I raided my scraps. I'm knitting, let me double check, I'm knitting the large size. And this pattern goes from 0 to 3 months all the way up to 12 to 18. So I'm knitting the large, which is the 9 to 12 months. It's fingering weight yarn, 2.25mm needles, and you need approximately 15 grams of the main colour and 5 grams of the contrast colour. So I raided my stash, and these are the 2 yarns I found. Now that's the cream is the undyed Owl About Yarn Sparkle owl that I'm using for my blanket squares. Can you hear my stomach rumbling? Oh my God, it's lunchtime. Sorry, it's been a long time since breakfast. So yeah, the cream is undyed Sparkle Owl. The purple is also Owl About Yarn Sparkle Owl, but I cannot for the life of me remember the colourway. The purple is some of the very first hand-dyed yarn I bought years ago, and I knit a pair of monkey socks out of it. Those are on my Ravelry page, so maybe, I don't even know, Jenny, do you still dye this colourway anymore? You should, because it's gorgeous. Anyway, so the purple is my main colour and the cream is my contrast. So these are on 2.25mm needles, and it's a toe-up construction, which I must say is my absolute least favourite. I've done Judy's Magic Cast On, which I loathe with a passion. It works wonderfully well. It's too fiddly. It's too fiddly, but I managed it. The pattern so far is beautifully written. It's just not my favourite technique of doing things. So, booty toe. I'm afraid I haven't got to the interesting bit yet, but there it is. This will eventually be a booty. And there's not a huge amount more to say about it, except it's nice to be working with purple yarn. That's my favourite colour. And, oh no, I'll show you that. I was going to show you something, but I'll do that in acquisitions at the moment. So yes, little booty design. I have to say, I don't know anybody that needs a pair of baby booties. So when I finish knitting these, if Kathy doesn't want me to post them to her for photo shoots or anything, I might see if any of you guys would like them. If anyone's got a 9 to 12-month-old baby that would like purple sparkly booties. Anyway, so that was my cast on treat to myself this morning when I should have been doing something else entirely. Anyway, so yes, I'm enjoying knitting those, and it was nice to have a bit of something new. Last of all is knitting acquisitions. Now, the first thing is hilarious. I have a home thread on Ravelry where I hang out most of the time, and it's a collection of the most weird and wonderful people you will ever come across in your life. And knitters are the best people, but this particular collection of knitters really is above and beyond. And there's a chap on there called Andrew. Hello, Andrew. And I'm pretty sure he's insane. He's insanely funny, but he's proper nuts. He's not the full banana, this man. And he sent me a surprise parcel, and I nearly died laughing. He found me the spring 1982 copy of Personality Knitting. It was the bargain price of £1 at the time, and there are over 30 star designs for you to knit. And honest to God, Dave and I were in the kitchen. That is Joanna Lumley. Look at her. And look, oh my God. Look, this woman's wearing a plaited headband. The patterns in here are just, they're breathtaking. I really, you know, the styling is just unbelievable. This one made me laugh. Liza Goddard. I don't even remember. I was born in 1979, so I know a few of the names in here, but I don't know what programmes they were from. Dave is older than me. He's 46, and so he recognised these people a bit more. And there's this wonderful sort of mosaic knitting jacket and a lady with a pram in the middle of the road. Look at the styling on that. I don't know if those are supposed to be waterproof trousers or if they're just that shiny. Oh, they're just, I mean, you just can't make it up. Where is the absolute cracker? Oh yeah, here's the headband one. Look at that. I think that is boucle yarn with I mean, oh God, it's seashells. Oh, they're clams with a tiny little pearl at the bottom. Oh my God. But by far and away, the absolute hands down winner, I've got to find it now. Oh my goodness, where is it? Oh, this is quite funny. Do any of you remember Roy Castle? He played the trumpet and did kids television. And there's, to be fair, what is quite a nice Aran jumper and bobble hat, knitted for the whole family. Look at that. In a sort of a cat-sick beige and baby blue with matching bobble hats. Oh my days. This one is strangely styled. This is cherries, a really fuzzy jumper with cherries on it. And maybe she's just been hit by a car but doesn't care because she's wearing a hand-knit jumper. I don't even know. Stephanie Lawrence, that's supposed to be. I bet she was chuffed as nuts with that. Oh my God. But if there is one to give you nightmares. Okay, this is Stacey Dawning. I don't know who she is. And there's a little quote at the top. "I'm clown mad," says Stacey Dawning. "I collect them. Stuffed clowns, old wooden and papier-mâché clowns, porcelain clowns, clown brooches, paintings and thimbles." Okay, now if you don't like clowns, you might like to look away because this is the stuff of nightmares. Can you see that? Oh my God. I mean, for a start, she looks absolutely crackers. Can you see? Look! It's a clown intarsia jumper with a ruffle. I mean, you know Punch and Judy shows, and there was always the dog that had a ruff around its neck. I mean, honest to God. And if I show you the chart, unfortunately the middle page is coming out, but if I show you the intarsia chart, look how freaky. Oh my God. I just, you know, it's brilliant. Thank you, Andrew, so much. This is the best pound that anyone could ever have spent. And the brilliant thing is some of the adverts inside it. And if I show you the back page, this is an advert for Freeman's of London. The Freeman's catalogue. I don't know if these are famous people, but it's just ladies with enormous hair saying how much they like the Freeman's catalogue. I think this poor lady got rained on the way in. Anyway, so Personality Knitting 1982, marvellous stuff. Now Andrew is a fairly new member of our group, and he swore up and down that he would never knit socks. And of course he did. So it was the thin end of the wedge, Andrew, and you're now one of us. So he hate knitted his way through a pair of socks for his partner for their 40th birthday, and was so cross by the end of it he couldn't even bear to keep the leftover yarn. So he very kindly sent me his leftover yarn. This is Drops Fabel. It's lovely sock yarn, I must say. I've knitted a pair with Dave out of these. And this is colourway 340. So I've got a nice 50 grams of that. How many metres is it? 205 metres. And it's a 75-25. So thank you very much, Andrew. That really made my day when that arrived. And then my final acquisition was a bit of a mystery. And I went into work one day, having had a pretty rubbish day one way and another, and there was a surprise parcel for me there. I thought, haven't ordered anything, and I opened it up, and it was the most beautiful set of stitch markers, and I thought, I haven't ordered any stitch markers, and there was nothing inside to say who it was from or anything. But it turns out it was from Sally Louisa, so thank you. And she just sent it to me as a cheer up present. So the stitch markers are from Granary Knits, and you can find her granaryknits.co.uk and also granaryknits.etsy.com. And the lady's name is Sue Beard. Oh, there we go. Again, I'll put all the details down below. And the stitch markers came in this beautiful little handmade sheepy drawstring bag. And there are the stitch markers, and they're heart shaped, and they've got, can you see, tiny little paw prints on them, because she knows how much I love Jim the dog. So there's a set of 6 of those, and I've already popped one on my booties as my stitch marker for my booties, so thank you very much. That was very, very sweet. So I've been thoroughly spoiled, all sorts of unexpected loveliness. Yeah, crafters are the best. Basically, crafters are the best. Right, that is everything I have for you this episode. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Check the links and the details of everything down below. And if you enjoyed the podcast, give me a thumbs up. Click the subscribe, and as I said, my beach hut socks pattern should be out on the 1st of July. Keep your eyes peeled on Instagram for details of a discount code, and I'll also be doing a giveaway. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that, and then you won't miss out on anything. So I hope you have a lovely couple of weeks. I hope the weather is just how you like it wherever you are. Follow me on Instagram, find us in the Ravelry group, and I will see you again soon. Bye!